Hi, Mom. We're talking to Mom. We're making a phone call to home. Here I am. Just, I'm just doing my reps, walking across Central Park. This is kind of a new theme show, I guess, that I do. Oh, there's Ashley. Ashley just jumped right in right away. Hello, Ashley. So you can see in real time how I'm making my way across the park, okay? It's the title of joke.
Eventually, we're gonna get hit by a car.
It is a joke, yeah. But it's also funny because it's true. Look at that nice sign there. Or say. I mean, I'm sure it's not. It's probably. I don't think it's that easy to get a restraining order on somebody. I don't think it's like, getting your license or something. I think it's probably hard. It's probably a lot of money and you gotta get a lawyer and blah blah blah. It's not like you can't just go to the library and get a restraining order and fill it out and then enforcing it. How are they going to enforce it? Yes, it's a joke, Ashley. What do you think it's a joke about? Just trying to come up with possible solutions to my problems. I don't know. Why did they invent the restraining order? To help people, okay? But what good did it? I mean, if somebody wants to come to wherever you are, what's going to stop them? I mean, I guess you could have your restraining order that might put them in jail or something, but it's not going to physically stop them. But it's also a double, I wrote a poem. I wrote a poem called Restraining Order. So it's a double meaning. I don't think I'm going to be on for 2 hours. I just thought I'd walk across the park. Maybe I'll do an hour or something. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how into it I get. You'll be able to track in real time my progress as I make my way through the Upper East Side, apparently Central Park is like dangerous now. There has been violent robberies in Central Park. Not that many. Don't get alarmed. We're going to investigate. We're going to go firsthand and investigate. We're going to get to the bottom of this. It's vigilante justice. I'm going to go out. I'm going to protect these streets, okay? No one else is doing it. We need real life superheroes, okay? I'm the real fucking Batman. No, I'm just kidding. I avoid conflict. I'm a pacifist. I'm a conscientious objector. Look at this beautiful. Love crossing these streets. Just look at that. Admire that lovely city we live in, everybody. That's why we pay $1,000 minimum a month. I was looking at gypsy housing on Facebook, and Ashley's logging off. Okay. Thank you for watching, Ashley. I'll see you in a few minutes. Go work on your novel. Or read your novel, or whatever it is. I'm probably going to read some poetry. That's why I kind of got on here. I wanted to, I just need to read all my notebooks. I need to read everything that I write into the internet so I have a record of it. Wait a minute. Oh, God, I shouldn't have said anything. Ashley was just about to leave. She was just about to leave. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to walk through the park, and then, depending how that goes, maybe I'll stop and read some stuff. Ashley deserves to. Well, maybe I'll read it when I get to your house. There's the pastrami queen. A sandwich at the pastrami queen is like $30. Oh, God. I mean, why aren't people protesting how much everything costs? That's what I'm wondering. I appreciate the passion and the solidarity and the outspokenness, but, we should be protesting, how much fucking rent costs. We should be protesting all these fucking, private, fucking equity people buying everything in our whole goddamn society. I hate to harp on this stuff, even though I love harping on it. Until they fix it. This is my protest. Getting on YouTube every day. Ashley's logging off, everybody. Say goodbye. Say goodnight, Ashley. We're going to watch Blue in the Face. I got to see Inception. I got to see Inception just so I know what the fuck these people are talking about. The Nolan bros. I mean, I gotta say the depth of cinema knowledge is, people that consider themselves film bros, they're a disgrace. They're a disgrace to the fucking term. 3 women, okay, I'd love to see 3 women. That's Altman. I'd like to watch Nashville. I've never seen Nashville. It's a good one. To be honest, I've never really gotten that into Altman. I saw Shortcuts. The scene where Huey Lewis takes a piss while he's fly fishing. And Popeye I remember seeing when I was a little kid. And of course it was real weird. And bad. I mean, frankly, when you're a little kid, that's not what you wanted or expected out of a Popeye movie. What other fucking Altman? I mean, I saw Altman's adaptation of Fool for Love a few years ago, and I hated it. I thought it was just the worst film. But apparently Tarantino loves it. I think Tarantino just likes anything bad. So that's been kind of an influence on me. 3 Women is excellent. Shelley Duvall. Oh, I did want to talk about The Shining. I was watching this really interesting Mark Fisher talk about The Shining and fatherhood. And how The Shining is sort of about the sins of patriarchy and America. The Overlook Hotel is built on an Indian burial ground, and that's why it's haunted. Jack Nicholson, Jack Torrance, kind of the last. This is what Mark Fisher says. He's the last kind of man, the last family, the last patriarch, the last guy takes care of his. But he's like, it's the duty of the father. Freud thought the duty of the father is to kill the child. Jack Torrance, like Chris Benoit. He said the duty of the father is to terrify the child. Which, to some degree, I think is true. Isn't that your dad's job? It's your dad's job to scare you. And I'm giving you the Cliff's Notes, okay? Not necessarily to be Jack Torrance, but your dad's job is to scare you so you don't do bad things. So you know the boundaries, you know the limits of, and also to make you tough, because life is tough. Your parents, right? That's the criticism now. What is your question? The criticism now is, right, people don't know how to parent anymore. They're their kids' best friends. Should we eat the lasagna? Yeah, let's eat it. I mean, are you hungry? It's not gluten-free, is it? I can't just be eating giant trays of lasagna, as much as I'd like to. Is this the Morgan Library? Where's the Morgan Library? That's from Ragtime. We watched Ragtime. I should talk about Ragtime for a second. Have you guys seen Ragtime by Milos Forman? We gotta watch Heaven's Gate. Now that we watched Ragtime, we gotta watch Heaven's Gate. But Ragtime is sort of like Once Upon a Time in America. It's sort of like Godfather 2. It's like a historical epic. But Ragtime is like, for lack of a better word, it's racially progressive. I'd say that's the point of the movie. It's woke, for lack of a better word. To use the parlance of our times. Ragtime is like proto-woke. But it's like more of like, it's less of a rigorous approach to the kind of period. Even though they have New York City neighborhoods all dolled up in the art of sushi and kind of like period atmosphere, clothes and shit. Maybe I'll go up Madison Avenue for a sec. I kind of like these streets on the Upper East Side that are just kind of long and one way. We're madmen here. So we gotta go up Madison Avenue. I saw this clip on Mad Men where Pete was talking about he was gonna buy an apartment on 82nd Street or something. And of course his parents are like the ultimate wasps. They're like, you don't want to buy that far uptown. It's dangerous up there. I think that Guggenheim is like in the 90s, isn't it? I mean, Jesus. Yeah, someday we got to be high society people on the Upper East Side. We got to buy a townhouse. Like Spike Lee, like Martin Scorsese. They have townhouses somewhere kind of in that general area. Within 20 blocks of here, I would say. Okay, goodbye, Ashley. I'll see you soon. Put the lasagna in the oven. Let's start preheating that oven, okay? Start preheating that bad boy. Let's have this thing warm for when I arrive. After my 2-hour lecture about Ragtime, The Shining. I don't know. Ragtime was kind of boring, to be honest. Oh boy. I'm not sure. It won't be 2 hours, Ashley, okay? Don't worry. You know, I'll go until my phone is like 20% or something. You know, I'm making my way there. I'm on 80th Street. There's fucking scaffolding everywhere. God, just ruins. Okay, Ashley, please. You're distracting me, as usual. Can't focus on my film criticism live stream. Why not be fucking film critics? I mean, you know, Godard, Cahiers du Cinema, the greatest magazine of the 20th century. They were film critics. I mean, video is just encroaching more and more as far as, like, you know, I guess probably people are either totally hooked on TikTok or they don't use it at all and they're completely unaware of the culture. It is like a cult, I would say, in that regard. Okay, so Ashley left. Wow. Can't believe it. Ashley actually left. But, I mean, video as a grammar, as the principal communication device, as the principal medium, I think is only beginning. You know, TikTok, they can ban it, do whatever they want. It's only the beginning. And so, studying film, talking about film, watching film, I guess I just surrender. You know, I wanted to be a paper guy. I wanted to be a literature guy. I wanted to come to New York and be a part of, you know, the publishing industry or whatever. The old brown shoe, Little Brown, you know, Random House, Scribner's. But, God, I don't know. It just, you know, it feels like the only thing you can do is build a fucking audience online and try to be, you know, an influencer, try to start a podcast. You know, everybody fucking makes fun of people for starting podcasts, but it's like one of the few jobs that you can kind of maybe get. Doubleday, yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't know. I just... You know, as much as I'd like to be like a literary guy, and I am a literary guy, I just don't necessarily know that I'm cut. You know, I heard my buddy who works for, yeah, I got to see that more Whit Stillman. I haven't seen Last Days of Whit Stillman. My buddy who works for, I don't know where he works, but he just got he got a job at like a publisher. You know, he works with like an editor. And he was saying, you know, they won't even look at your book unless you have bylines at the New York Times, the Atlantic, New Yorker. You know, you got to have all that shit for them to even consider publishing your, like, nonfiction manuscript. Oh, is it Met Gala? When is the Met Gala? Is it tomorrow? Or is that's like in the fall? That's in September, isn't it? We're going to Ashley's... thesis prom for her MFA program is tomorrow night. Columbia is not canceling it, if you can believe that. They moved all their classes online and shit, and yet they're going ahead with this fucking thesis prom. Is this the fucking Met Gala? What is this? There would have to be more people here. I'm paparazzi now. Sleeping Beauties, reawakening fashion. Okay. So I guess it's prom season. Maybe they're doing some kind of gala or some shit. I don't know. Fundraising, some kind of fundraising thing. The Illuminati's in there. All the Zionists are in there making decisions. The World Bank, the IMF, they're all in there deciding, what they're going to do with us, the slave class. They're the apex predators. They don't care about us. We're just like ants to them. We're just, they'll use us as long as they need labor power, but if they don't, they'll just throw us away, let us die. That's the phase that we're in now. We're gradually being phased out. You're either in the aristocracy or you're in the service class. And, the service class kills you slowly. And we have to compete for those jobs. We have to compete for the right to wait tables or be a bartender or, serve the successful people, the people who have real jobs, who are wealthy. So he was saying, and like they won't even fucking hire you at this place unless you went to an Ivy League school. That's just New York. That's just the gatekeeping. These are the filters, basically. And I do think there's truth. I was watching this video. They keep pimping this guy. I don't know what his name is. I think it's Scott or something. He's like a white male kind of professor. He's an NYU professor, I think. I've seen him more. He's got kind of creep glasses like me. But he was talking about that, America is supposed to be about helping the 90%, bottom 90%. There's supposed to be the idea that there's social mobility, and the people from the bottom 90% might get into the top 10% of wealth holders. Whereas now, it's like everything has been redesigned, all the rules have been rewritten, all the priorities have been rerouted, that it's really just about making the 10% of people who are already wealthy fucking richer. Turning turning people who were born rich or born with privilege into billionaires. It seems like that's what the fuck. And, I don't know. My crisis right now is just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I fit in New York because New York is the place where, like, I don't know, everybody is like hyper professionalized and, you have to be on your shit, I guess. The best of the best. That's the cliche or whatever. And so I do feel like the best of the best. I feel like I have to be here. But I also feel like it's like too late. And it's like, other than like maybe, not to be negative or whatever on my YouTube or self-deprecating or low, insecure. My YouTube is just about airing out my insecurities as a way to try to reach understanding or try to help. I don't know. Maybe other people feel the same way, or it's a way of this fucking double-decker bus. I'm holding up this entire double-decker bus. It's a way of explaining, I don't know, what I'm going through, my inner psychological life, I don't know. Okay, here we go. We're going into the park, into the dangerous Central Park here, so it could start raining. God be with us as we document the entire process. How obnoxious. I couldn't just walk across the park, Lord knows. This is productivity time. See, I need to be going live more. I need to be building my online audience. What is wrong with me? Why don't I have 100,000 people watching me do this? How is it, because you got to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to go live on TikTok. everybody I see going live on TikTok is just sitting on their ass playing like video games. They're playing WWE 2K4 or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for NES. It's like, what the fuck? And they're not even, you know, they're not even good looking or anything. They're just like video game bros. I do think that like male culture, that's what dudes do. They play video games now. You know, it's like, that's not the real world. You know, that's taking you out of life in a certain way. And I can't really relate to that. You know, I everything that I thought was like lazy, undisciplined, uninteresting, was not gonna last the test of time about art when I was like in high school, I was wrong about. You know, like, not necessarily that I didn't think video games were art, but like the idea that people would watch fucking video game streaming or, you know, shit like Disney Channel shows, Hannah Montana, all the stuff that people have like this super like reverence for. Or now it's like people just want to, you know, they want to go more into that. You know, they want to go more into online video games or playing Fallout or watching Family Guy. I saw this list, top 10 animated shows ever. And I was like, I don't like any of this shit. It was all like, Family Guy was like the last one on the list. You know, people love fucking SpongeBob SquarePants. And I'm not, you know, I'm not necessarily against, I guess I should go up here. I should go up on the lake right now. Because it is like nice time to be on the lake. So let me do the lake. Maybe I'll do some poetry on the lake, on the reservoir. The Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Fuck, I already did like kind of start walking a little bit. Fuck. Oh well. You know, SpongeBob, that was a little after my time. You know, I didn't really watch SpongeBob. So maybe it's a great show, but I don't know. It felt like when I was a kid, the show, like Doug had a little bit of fucking substance to it, or, you know, The Simpsons. What about the fucking Simpsons? The Simpsons wasn't on this list. It was all like, I don't know. It was all kind of like super ADHD, kind of spazzy kid, incoherent, you know, kind of Dada. Dexter's Laboratory. Ed, and Eddie, is that a show? Johnny Bravo, that kind of shit. Very short attention span. Very kind of like just gimmicky, indulgent jokes, cheap writing. You know, people have like a problem with Ren and Stimpy. I guess the creator was like a super creep. But, you know, it had like a vibe. It was edgy. Can I get the fuck up here from here or what? How can I get on the reservoir? So I don't know. I find our culture like not wanting to be serious. You know, there is like an Arrested Development in this country, the food. You know, it's like, I do think that there is like a mass kind of hallucination or mass just kind of like understanding that like our generation hasn't grown up or something. It's like we can't have kids. The way we take care of ourselves is like, what the hell, you know, if you look at adults from like the 40s or something, right? They really look like adults. You know, they smoke, they fucking drink, they wear suits. They feel like, you know, whereas like millennials, we don't really feel that way. We feel like we're still kind of like fucking teenagers or something. Getting advertised to. Alright, where the fuck am I now? Alright, now we're here at Bear Grylls. We're in the wilderness here. We're in the wild. We've been dropped here in the middle of Central Park. We have to figure out how to make it out of here. with no food. I've got one cherry stick. That's it. That's all I have. One cherry stick. Well, this is kind of cool. Oh, God. What the hell else should I talk about? Let me read some poetry. For Christ's sake. By the reservoir. It's kind of a poetic location. Right? Okay. This is called Newly Decomposed Chit Chat Lyric. Priest-like task of pure ablution. Tiny electrical storms in my knee. Riot foul lint vaccine. Subreddit for his faults. No matter how much of it takes of us to school, is Marv Albert still alive? Kudos to Shot Clock, Humanity Foie Gras, John Mayer, did it sitting, 20th century parentheses and Gilded Ages, 8th Street on its way, Little Hammering Tines. The finding is really hard, drum beats of war protests, 5th Avenue and 12th Street, outside New School, spicy seafood pasta, everything gluten-free. Ashley knows what she's talking about. Observations of a quack storming in the park. Might be like 10:30 before we get a table, stopping to watch last 5 minutes of the game. Knicks win at Philadelphia bar, fans are bummed. What the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of New York. Philly cheesesteak, Bradley Cooper ass motherfuckers. Went to Bucknell for undergrad. Sixer season ends in the fluctuating time of a last minute stops with commercial interruption, room forward by midnight so you can get home while the criminals celebrate the outcome. Foul him over Lagrange, NBA on TNT, Barkley, Shaq, unbeatable television, squared away for round ball rock. The AOL Time Warner merger stopped money dumping into WCW. Bischoff was paying for the TV time. It was worth nothing without the TV time. Monday nights on Turner, Domino sugar sign, like in a corporate ballpark of the waterfront. His translator was betting on baseball, millions of dollars. Henry Darger posthumous outsider trunk sagas. Stopping to get gas, 1 cent per gallon. Having fluid drained from my lung with your needle dick proboscis. Restraining order. Ashley is a force to be reckoned with. This was all happening concurrently, festooned with confidence. Life expectancy collapsed in my family, sniffing glue, vaping, pounding Bud Light. Trivial moments slip off my face. We're in a race to be the hottest person we can be. Long Parkside strep fucks up my pinionship. Sorry, I can't do Mondays. And the Earth walks in, sitting on its ass, which is oceans. Center of the world until the millennium put laminated desert platters and theft-proof clamshell security displays. That would look like what exactly? Jason Alexander as George Costanza on CSI. This is what I know how to do. I see no reason to stop, but don't know how to operate the cash register. That was the worst idea since Greedo. Shooting first. I don't want to be here no more. Rooms to let in the low to mid 3-figure range. The pinata capitulated, ordering 2 soft tacos, 2 hard tacos. System Lord reconvenes Tuesday, and other important cultural news. All right, Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks. We've been through this once before. Life is a lot to process. Crispus Attucks was the first person to die in the American Revolution. The art of the account. His blood fed the tree of liberty. Robbers got away with one $15 The guys out front said they were doing me a favor. Reuse literally the can opener tree. Obtain the trash of the present. Need to get home from the saltine. Give them something to remind me. One stiff peak. Good at starting things but not being a part of them. An overview of the census. Shitting money from Monday night. Silly coin penalty kick removal glance.
A bluntness of dump trucks, good reading day, taking words apart and putting them back together again, cycles of formation, escapes into domestic turret, rejection, fascist election cycles with nerve decay in my face, teaching those who will listen about poetry for free on the internet. My mentor could be in Venice, the other one's dead. I try not to lean on that. McG on Kimmel, even the new stuff sounds old. Protest outside New School, I joined briefly in my walk down Fifth Avenue in May. Celebration sunshine unpeeling its eye. NYPD pried the occupiers out of Heinz Hall like they effectively do with every significant, meaningful political movement. Spatula'd it to the dumpster. What did you expect, carrying hammer and sickle up 6th Avenue past the smoldering icon at their priest-like task of pure ablution? Round Earth's human shores. The feeling's mutual. I wouldn't pull the emergency brake, but I would press the call signal on the police box by the tracks. A thankless task every Monday. Glad it didn't happen to me. Wait your turn. If it doesn't come as naturally as flowers to a tree, the village in spring at night, an earful of good evening. The TS in Elliot stands for Taylor Swift. Little TV animals do not have access to that side of the building. Another ear splashing someone's thing to the apartment upstairs. It's coming down at all hours of the day. How do you politely tell someone, stop throwing your pee out the window? You're responsible for a portion of the water bearer. Proactively made copies, put it on my bill. I used to think having students type essays rather than handwrite them was immoral. The people who are successful in life are the ones who talk to their advisors or guidance counselors in high school and college. I was afraid, did it myself, always signed up for classes late, the ones I wanted usually full. What I do is not really writing so much as jotting things down, taking notes on my ideas. An ocean of emotional movement in my cryptic writing groups, weak but surviving, born in the year of the rat. Feeling extra sorry for myself, encouraging you on the phone like Frank O'Hara. Commuting 3 to 4 hours per day, there's no way out, so do what you love. Opening for fish. See, I write down everything you say. That doesn't happen. You don't feel the turmoil to show the turmoil. I was trying to show my thoughts. My feelings would just go everywhere. But I don't say them. They need to be in a packet full of Kool-Aid container with a face on it that tells you how to act. Oh, this little old thing ruined my day. How do I stop lacerating myself and achieve peak performance? Pay what you want. I paid $1 for this massive Cocteau biography. I already thought this all through. It's painful to revisit. But nobody roared for my slate of answers. I've always been a bad artist, ever since I was a kid. I know it was a surprise to me, too. I keep looking over his shoulder to make sure I'm not going to get robbed. Camouflaging it with abstraction and radical feeling. It became clear Cocteau was Apollinaire's lieutenant. A generational talent, if you agree our generation is horrible and shitty. Cochlear dilemma, reads like a list. Xanthes or hospitality was big before Hilton. Run up and introduce people in my sadness and not even getting noticed. How out of the loop. I didn't mean to offend anybody. Desperate and depressed, emotions and mental state incisively microcalibrated by wannabe emperors and terraformers. World-building dweebs from apartheid Montessori wealth. Working with history, my script is snippets of psychological Kodachrome. Before it gets dark, something else new starts. Ogden's playing township. Sorry, you're on your own. Alright, maybe I'll move on and keep talking and then I'll read some more shit. I don't want to get robbed. Oh, I've got a filter. Should I throw a filter on there? Oh man, you can't even see any of the buildings over there. What the fuck? Where am I? Oh, am I like on the south end of this? Okay. So if I go this other way, I think that's actually going to be faster. Yeah, I think that's north. That's the Upper East Side. I think. Can I even go this way? Oh boy, this happens to me every fucking time I come out here. Alright. Okay, now that I've aired my insane opinions about the end of patriarchy, I don't know. It's like, what the other thing is, like, all these fucking theater spaces closed, right? All these kind of like incubation, the Tank or something. You know, there were all these kind of like theater, or like, you know, there's a lot of in-person shit that's just going away. Is this right? Am I doing this right? I don't know. It's just kind of, it's like, I do think the apex predators are willing to let us die or phase us out, try to kill us, try to work us to death. I mean, if they don't give us health insurance and they expect us to work as much as we work and eat the bad food that we eat in this country, what did they expect to happen to us? You know, it's like, if you don't have, I guess that's eugenics, that's competition, you know? It's just like, this is why I talk about economics, neoliberalism. You know, if you want to talk about neoliberal hell, that's what it is. It is fucking deregulating everything, privatizing everything, making the market decide. The market is fake. It's not even fucking real. It's like, I think, therefore I am. You know, it's, we think because we imagine it that it exists. But, you know, like this idea I was thinking about, you know, how they bought Manhattan for $24 or whatever. That tells you everything you need to know about the market. You know, it's like these figures, obviously Manhattan is worth far more than $24. And anybody can see that. Not including, and not just because of the real estate and shit. It's you can't put a price on it, right? We want to put a price tag on every fucking thing in life now. And it's gonna kill us all. It's just a dumb fucking system decided by losers who want to pull us into their obsession with their own fecal fucking matter. You know, McLuhan has something about, everything harder. If you didn't, McLuhan has this thing about money is like an imitation of like the sort of like monkey impulse to like throw shit at each other. You know, like cash. Cash is this kind of dirty, kind of like anal, in the transaction, you know, handing money across a counter to another human being, them accepting it is almost like this is all McLuhan. It's almost like, you know, swinging branches or something. There's something about it that's very like playing with your own shit. I don't know. I don't know what the hell he was on about. Let's just look at these nice buildings. Look at that. You know, you'll never be able to afford it. Forget about it. It's not for normal people. Well, the other thing is just like the ways that you can make money seem increasingly more and more criminal. You know, the market manipulation, fracking, shale play, oil, killing the environment, Tesla, battery, you know, exploiting people in China to make iPhones so you can fucking go live on YouTube walking around the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Entertaining ourselves to death, micro-entertaining ourselves, micro-fragmenting our attention spans. I don't know about you, but when I sit down to meditate, my mind, you know, I think it's a lie that you can like focus on one thing for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long. I mean, the point is that it's like the condition of life that you're always going to have change, you're always going to have new things coming in, you're always going to have interruptions, you're always going to have feelings, reactions. The point of the meditation is to stay centered and just realize the eternity of everything. And that's sort of unwavering. No matter what happens, no matter what fluctuates in our hallucinated, simulation, of life, of reality. You know, the moment, the now, just kind of keeps going. I don't know. Do I have anything to say? Do I have anything important to say? How could I possibly fill up this much time all week, every week? Do I just keep reiterating the same kind of vague shit about the economy? Yeah, I mean, it seems like the people from the 80s, the venture capitalists, the Reaganites, the voodoo economic people, the Reaganomic people, rewrote all the fucking rules. That's right. You can never step into the same live stream twice. The live stream just continues on. Morphing, changing. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes you get to that little epiphany of understanding. You start to feel good about it. You just relax. You let the endorphins flood in. You know, it's a free concert. Free concerts everywhere. You know? It's just frustrating that we could be just having such a good time. You know, like the pandemic. They could just stop work for everybody. That was honestly like a good model because people were industrious about their creative projects. You know, people started recording music. They started podcasting. They started streaming. They started, you know, they took that time. They took being home. They wrote books. They took the money. They reinvested it in their projects. That's what we should be doing, you know, with the removal of manual labor from our lives, freeing up more people. You know, it's also amazing how we let the rules of the past kind of dominate what we do now. I don't feel like they lived that way in the past. You know, when they were building the United States, stealing it, genociding people to take it, you know, they had to come up with ideas about how the fuck they wanted to do it. Now it just feels like everything's built out, everything's been done. You know, we've had the same fucking government for 250 years that doesn't really work anymore. And yet we're kind of afraid to change any of it. We're kind of afraid, you know, the disruption all happens online. It all happens in kind of this invisible space. And then, you know, the new shit they build all sucks. The new apartments they build, the new design sucks. It's like there gotta be a way. You know, it's just so fucking frustrating. Because, I mean, even with prestige television and stuff, you know, think about the golden age of, like, that was not that long ago. Mad Men, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, all that shit. You know, that kind of gave you hope as, like, as an artist or as a whatever, aspiring artist in the industry, in whatever, you know, trying to be a filmmaker, trying to be an actor. It gave you something to, like, to hope, to, like, look forward to maybe being a part of, because you're like, this is very well done. This is groundbreaking, you know, this is kind of a new form of storytelling that goes on. They can explore these characters. And now it just feels like all of that has disappeared. And everything now is just like a cash grab, intellectual property that already exists. Some big franchise, science fiction, you know, escapism, Star Wars, Marvel, whatever the fuck it is. And, you know, that's fine for whatever it is, but it's just crowding everything out in the marketplace out. What's this fucking movie with Ryan Gosling, The Fall Guy? Even the movies they make that aren't superhero movies are like superhero movies. You know, like John Wick or fucking Nobody, Bob Odenkirk. It's like it's all just beat 'em up. The Rock. It's just, where is the fucking internal life in this country? You know, other than just like political complaining or yapping, or it's like, you know, Paul Auster died, right? This guy was an author. He made a couple movies. You know, that was just something he wanted to do. And he made some pretty cool stuff. You know, it's like, you can still do that, I guess. Maybe there's still, you know, famous people out there doing it, but now it's probably crowdsourced or something. Maybe it gets released on streaming. It's just, it doesn't have the same feel of like, it doesn't feel like it means anything really in the same way. You know, I mean, where are the big, what are the big era defining works? You know, fucking Taylor Swift albums, or this, like I keep seeing clips of this guy McG or something, who's like, people are going nuts for this guy on TikTok, but it's like he's a guitar player who uses like effects, and he has this guy with him who's like playing like a digital clarinet, and it's like, this is cool and everything, but it just sounds 80s. The Holdovers, yeah, I like Alexander Payne a lot, actually. I think he is one of, but that movie was like he purposefully was trying to make it like it was made in the 70s. You know, he said he like only used techniques. He wanted to be like the last detail. And so it's like, I really think he's one of the best. Apparently, About Schmidt is one of my favorite movies. Nicholson's retirement movie. But yeah, Alexander Payne, just like, he is, you know, what an American director should be. You know, he's from Nebraska. That kind of comes through in his work. You know, his movies are funny, but they're also kind of serious. His short in Paris Je T'aime, he did the short with the woman who's like a tourist, and she's like super normcore. It's very moving. You know, it's like a 5-minute short, and it's like very moving. He cares about a kind of America, I don't know, that just like, I don't know, is there but doesn't get a lot of attention. Yeah, yeah. I have not seen The Holdovers, but I mean, Giamatti, everything Giamatti does is fucking good. And yeah, I mean, it's weird that there are even still movies like this that we can talk about, because it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's a marketplace or like a venue for it. You know, like when I was in high school, there was the Art House movie theater, which had like one screen. It was different than the multiplex. That was where the interesting stuff was. Memento or whatever, World's Fastest, any indie film, Barton Fink, Coen Brothers movies, The Man Who Wasn't There. Even the Coen Brothers, it's like, what the fuck happened to them? They split up, and now they're, I don't know. Ethan Coen is like directing a film with like somebody half his age, trying to be relevant. It's embarrassing. But I don't know. I think like, if we're gonna succumb to movies, and it feels like society already has, you know, life is becoming more and more cinematic and like a big fucking movie, and just kind of swallowed by the movies. There's like nobody in Central Park right now. I wonder if that's because of the fact that there's been like crime or something. There's usually more people out. I mean, considering it's Friday night, it's pretty nice. There's usually kind of a lot more people out. Maybe I'm making that up, but maybe that's just a you know, self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever. Me reading into things that I've read that, you know, are telling me what it is, rather than yeah. So it's like, you know, look at the Fast and the Furious movies. Look at how important those are in our fucking culture. And why be a hater? I don't know. I'm not like against those movies, but I'm excited about Megalopolis. You know, I think it's amazing that Coppola, I mean, he really is like a giant American fucking artist. And it's like when you hear him speak, when you hear him lay out his ideas, you kind of make sense that he's as good as he is, because he's a very convincing director, and you can tell he has a vision. We've been watching all these Oliver Stone, like we watched the Nixon movie. Maybe I should talk about Nixon again. Oliver Stone is interesting because you can tell he's trying to tell kind of the story of the United States in his lifetime as he sees it. You know, he's really obsessed with kind of the legend of the 60s. And so Nixon is really a sequel to JFK. You could almost watch them back to back, really. And because they're basically like the same movie, just about a different person in a different kind of situation. But the technique, the lighting, the kind of approach is not dissimilar. But he just, you know, he's just really dramatizing history like Shakespeare would. And, you know, he writes good dialogue. He's able to just kind of like lay it out in a way. You know, I'm kind of fascinated by those kind of writers, those kind of filmmakers. It's almost like objectivism in poetry, because it's like there doesn't necessarily have to be anything behind it. It's just like he's just telling you what happened. You know, he's sort of trying to get into Nixon's character, and you know, and he wants it to be about how Nixon's isolated and this and that. But it's really just like you're kind of just watching. It's like watching a comic book of history, right? And to be honest, I think a lot of people learn about fucking history. Like, generally, people, if you're visiting someplace, probably what you know about it is something you saw in a movie, you know, or something you saw on TV. Oh, this is the fucking place where they filmed this thing, or, you know, a certain president. You know, you probably know what you know about JFK because of the fucking movie. You know, that movie was persuasive to a lot of people. And so to some degree, I think Oliver Stone's work, people point to the Watergate moment as the moment in this country where people stopped believing in the government. You know, Watergate was kind of the fulcrum moment where people said they started to believe conspiracies, they started to distrust the government, they started to think the government's bad. You know, before that, it was New Deal, social programs, welfare, whatever. And then Watergate, because Nixon lied. This is how the country was. You know, there was a sort of... at least that's like the propaganda. Who knows if this is true? But you got the sense, like, with America, there was, like, some kind of code of honor, or, like, I don't know, doing the right thing. I guess it's like World War II propaganda or whatever. You know, we came out of World War II looking good. He didn't push back on Cutler at all whatsoever. Street the fuck is this? And now everybody's a fucking conspiracy theorist. Doesn't even think we landed on the moon. They think that was fake. Like and subscribe if you're new and you're just tuning in. Future viewers, if anybody's watching this in the future. I know it's Friday night. I just wanted to kind of get something going. And so it's like he's talking about history, power, the personalities of these people, the empire. Won't stop. Okay, Ashley, I'll be there soon. I'm on 97th Street, okay? So I'm almost there, really. I might get a roti roll. I might stop and get a roti. I'm on Central Park West, everybody, if you're just tuning in. Talking about Nixon. You know, in the 90s when those movies came out, the impression I get with the Nixon movie was Oliver Stone was really trying not to look like a super left-wing Nixon hater. You know, I think the problem with the movie is he tries to humanize Nixon too much. It's really a monster movie. Like, Nixon is a monster, and he's grotesque. I think he didn't want to do any of that cartoonish kind of caricature. You know, the cliches of Nixon. You know, the kind of, I'm not a crook. But I gotta say, Anthony Hopkins doesn't even try to do Nixon. He doesn't look like Nixon. His body does not look like Nixon's. His face does not look like Nixon's. He doesn't even act like Nixon. It's like, I want to do a remake of Nixon. I think I could win an Oscar. Somebody could have tore that fucking role to pieces. I mean, it's Nixon, for Christ's sake. He's being, okay, Cause to Grave Z. All right. Yeah, I have heard of this. It won the Oscar. I mean, it's Nixon. Somebody could have teed off on this fucking role. You know, they should have got Nicholson, but Pacino would have had a field day with Nixon. He'd be screaming, "Oh, I am not a crook! I'm not a crook! I can't watch this." Yeah, so Nixon was just trying to maintain his figure what out? Figure what out? Put the lasagna in the oven, Ashley. Put the goddamn lasagna in the oven. Who's the other filmmaker? I want to watch The Insider, Michael Mann. I think it just went on Criterion, so we got to watch The Insider. I've been wanting to see that movie forever. That's another kind of creative nonfiction story from real life. But at the same time, like, Oliver Stone is writing a script. He is laying it out. You know, it's 3.5 hours long. It seems like, I don't know, that kind of movie might be easier because it's like the material's already there. You're just kind of shaping things that already happened. You know, you could take your dialogue just out of the fucking transcripts and shit. Nixon taped all this stuff. He was basically like a live streamer. He was like a racist, right-wing men's rights podcaster. He'd get in and talk about the Jews or whatever. He was frank about, you know, not just anybody, you know. Not in a good way. Fuck Nixon. That's my final opinion about the film. Oh, there's Pizza Hut, everybody. Should I stop and get Pizza Hut? What? Put the lasagna in the oven, Ashley. Put it in the oven now. Okay? Just gonna stop over here and maybe read a little more poetry for a sec. Okay? Just before I sign off. Guess I'll wait. Do you not listen? Are you not listening to what I'm saying? Okay. Put the lasagna. She missed the poetry, so we're going to read a little more. I mean, I need to become like some kind of streaming icon. You know, I need to revolutionize streaming. Become like a giant of streaming. What, Ashley? What now? Okay. Streaming poetry from Madison Square Garden live. We're impractical jokers, everybody. If those guys have got a fucking audience. Okay, this is one I wanted to. I think I read this last time. Making fun of my political opponents on stage. This time it's personal. Maybe I did read this. I feel like I read this. Why did I get a phone call from Jersey City this morning? I don't think about it. Flat design sucks. The gorilla position is me at the soundboard. My vlogs are shorter than my life. 2 weeks lasts all year. I'm reclaiming my energy. I'm taking back my energy. I want to prosecute to the full extent of the law. Theophilosophical hermit amongst the people, choosing the good lawn, little man in the corner recording, Recording will keep me alive because of what I've seen. Connected to my shadow, same time next year. Poet's House didn't hire me back, the bastards. Double Prom is protected by the encampment, send me to the front line of the conscientiousness jailhouse. Not schooled till fall, and opening a shortcut, a road will be thrown, coins and gold. Real life is eternal, but nobody watches old movies. I'd like to get $1 slice. Def, remember the first time my glasses came off, falling dramatically around the face by the man falling asleep in the court, deepening relationships when I could have been coming over, saying hi to change my life. Their power, like nightingales in a magnolia tree, bottling letters as they flutter and heartbeats across the townhouse bedroom. There's too many ways to die. Ouch, that hurts. I didn't pass the vibe check. I'm socially afraid. If they made a movie about my life, what the hell would it be about? Staring at water in the mirror of the window, 72% of pestilent resilience. He found drizzle and is worried about me getting mugged. Streams like I was in the room for the 4th time today. If I wore Trey Parker or pink dress, playing New York like a fiddle, they shoot Norman Mailer in the back of the head at the beginning of the movie. Something was lacking in the historical scale at Coney Island. Need to watch long movies because it takes forever to decide. I stole from 7th Avenue, but it's starting to feel normal again. Barely exist in print if you're lucky enough to have one of my magazines, though I started and nobody listens to me as the village endorses waves of similar ideas, being born unawares to each other at the same time. This book is longer, more nothing. Buildings falling like Where's My Mind, viewed from LIU Brooklyn. Nothing to show for it. Not a success. I could not go home again. Ashley, I'll read poetry anytime. I'll read poetry anytime, anywhere, any place. Need to write a refrigerator magnet. You know, I think Ted Berrigan would love refrigerator magnet poetry because it's just a cut-up. You know, a cut-up is refrigerator magnet poetry. Deleting memories from my phone, I like to beat people up. Bad karma, making fun of all those people waiting for dinner. At what point should I get worried? Like a horse in session, mainstream sailors pretend it's the 60s again. People should do their own events. I'm so proud of you. Make things look as new as possible. That's your ability, but it costs money. Art has always been for the rich. Da Vinci worked for Medicis or whatever. I'd rather not relive it. Great actors have to be great writers, poets, if you will. On a working gaze, Dr. Sober and Mr. High. As long as I don't have motion sickness, my body will heal itself like Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, indestructible, regenerative, as told by our babysitter, son of a poet, Cat Conan Longworth. Every kid would be lucky to have a babysitter with the spirit of adventure and ritual storytelling, married a girl in Woodhill in a makeshift pagan ceremony with natural wood in the dusk and trees. Old poets sitting wearing berets at readings and bars. He was Cat, David Evans was the abbot. We were nerds, staying up till midnight because it was New Year's Eve. Too many chair shots to the head, siphoning applause, pretend fighting with foam Excaliburs, making really big eyesight contact. The aura has worn off, bleak pain as a little treat to myself. Rain puddles are where the sky thinks, flipping open its vanity. Pus at the root of a cavern, not sure if I can go tomorrow, but I have to. Thumbnails for Faraway Spleen Grenade, May 68. Hate dollying all the equipment into the small elevator in maudlin rain. But I have the next 2 weeks off except for Mondays, which are always permanent. Wet trousers and shoes from extreme weather events outside. We're in the process of closing. Nature is healing. Bending the key to the sword, it won't break. Hazard mask work tonight. Will I make it up the stairs? I'll have to take the train, meet you there. The room is spinning. 3 shops along St. Mark's. If you know too much history, it becomes nihilism. Believe Friedrich Nietzsche. Used labor, the mat machine, working blue, late nights. Adam wants us to get him fired, live from a Marriott on the West Coast. Finding us through Captain Carl, Edgelord Saboteur, Kiwi Mountain, tuning in from Sweden or Finland, can't remember which. I like to beat people up. In The Last Crusade, the one downtown is still open. A whole dimension of subsound. The Philippines are almost entirely Catholic, notes Fred Schneider. Fell off the welcome wagon, bumping my head on bad manners the whole way down. I don't hate anybody, man. Born in '85, massively indoctrinated by the starstruck media, suicidal media. Comforts initiation. It can go any way at any time. 460 degrees. It's almost like a season arc of Curb. Ashley won the book contest. Why not just invent words? Thanked in the introduction, I try to keep everything short. I've got white privilege, might as well use it. How much longer? That's the 3rd time today a stranger has let me know I dropped my hat on the train. Delegate for white male mediocrity grandfathered in. Houses go by, a nail in my jaw, songwriting partnership, making 1 per day for 30 in a vault. Ashley got me a doll baby. I put it in my pocket, working towards my goals, which seem impossible, and the shrinkage eating itself. Antidepressant crackers ringing and knocking me awake at 7:30 a.m. I can't get back to sleep. There's no calories in water. You have purchased 10 minutes of sitting time. The friend is a male manipulator. The water bearer is going to the doctor tomorrow. Movie portrayals become truth in life. The original title for the pilot was Fish Tank. Like most divorced guys, he talks about his marriage a lot. Like how everything we make is a self-portrait. I slept through the earthquake. It knocked a painting off my wall. John Tenta, Tsunami and Company. She bounces back what I do through a tolerable mirror. Jeff Wright, Billy Lamont, Monique Erickson, Leia Eliminalea, Jason Trachtenberg, talking about AI with my mom. She called to make sure I didn't fall into the earthquake. My life is falling apart. Sultan moving in on Monday. Just one of those years. What's good about it? Ego's bigger than my talent. Need to fix myself and more. The likes on my TikTok comments are my serotonin funfetti cake caused by fracking. If you're negative, you'll disappear. Pay out of pocket. I'm a TikTok comment section guy now. In the pack of human totality. They don't take community health group, which I could live in the apartment above KGB. Amuse and guide, getting what I deserve. Leo's in the sun, CEO billionaires want one place for everything. Atlantic ever, eating sushito peppers. Attention of opposites, thinking they're going to be killed all the time. Heading out without my umbrella may have been my downfall. LCD ring aprons, Lenny Kravitz summit with Grunt in Paris. Cold mist, slippage, my glasses, where's the tightening screw? I need an external hard drive. Should I spark one more? Hurts when I do. I could be Steve Jobs, staying home all day just to feed myself. What did I miss in my rest? High-grossing domestic, don't be a wimp. Get to work, sitting on my ass. Might save the world doing my part, but nobody else joins in. Read what's around me, but it's expensive. That's a nice orange, but I could do it too. The Renaissance era, bounded by passion. Living in Moscow, taking English classes 3 days a week. Trying to keep up with the earth spinning apart. 25-year-olds are dangerous to my health. My glasses are loose. Smoking medicinal weed with Uncle Paul on the roof deck at Buckeye Lake. Listen to what jumps out at you. Brooklyn school, that door has a twitch. Subject to random search by the police. I didn't go to Naropa, I just work here. Ashley, settle the fuck down in the comments, okay? You are what I'm talking about. You are dangerous to my health, you psycho. Ashley is dangerous to my health. I think I'm live streaming my movie at the same time. It doesn't matter, it's all the same, okay? It's all of you. It's all of you. I played Tom Wingfield. I didn't go to Naropa. I just work here. I didn't go to Naropa. I just work here. I'm talking about you. I played Tom Wingfield. I played Tom Wingfield. I played Tom Wingfield. Roaring Mad Tom. Then I became him. Untitled, Down to Nothing. They jettisoned the live captioning. It all ends up in my song. 57 degrees and sunny, blossoms exploding, buds popping, running on dirty fuel. Shale play mountaintop removal. They want only one engineer on the trains through East Palestine. Cutting corners spread too thin. They don't give a fuck about us. No, Ashley, you're psychotic. Ashley's like my cavity, draining my energy. But she also saved my life sometimes. The cons of being broke but free, pirating WrestleMania 40 on Tic Tac, playing one move a day in the architectural bathroom. We never see the opponent on screen. Playing 40 rivals simultaneously blindfolded was Bobby Fischer right about 9/11? I forgot what he said. Kombucha, Pepsi. Where are people getting all these flowers and Little Mermaid steel drums? Sarah Jessica Parker had a deep wisdom from the beginning. Drop the strap product placement right in the middle of the ring, and the disintegrating idiocracy WWE is Aeschylus. The Bitcoin value ticker fluctuates through the minutes. 69,430, 69,359, 69,749. Irrigates the gash. Ghosts of Broadway at midnight in real time. No real-time data available. In another regard, I'm on Tatooine. They dig the infection out with a drill, or they cut your foot off. I wish they hadn't. Rimbaud's leg was amputated too. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. The internet makes everything coarse. Taking messages from on high. Do I have to die to get some appreciation around here? Show tomorrow, continuing as if nothing is wrong. Penicillin is available on the long of the avenue. Precariat nod to the lifers, replacing 20 paralegals with one via AI. I'm still a fact of what happened. 2 double-stacked tacos felt good when I woke up this morning. Listening to the Bonanza theme, watching Gunsmoke on the train, working his ankles smooth, a lot to take on all at once. Botticelli's looked like a reboot of Our Parents. Victims of their oversaturating the marketplace of ideas. There was little room for ours. Playing intramural water polo, all gold medalists come from a small quadrant of Eastern Europe. Fast channels on the TV train. Today was a nice spring day, and tomorrow is going to be even better. Wasted opportunities. Go to brunch on Saturday while I'm still in bed. Walking is killing me in the rain. Online when it's dry. You gonna be all right, mister? 20 miles to Carson City, bleeding to death in all parts, saying the F word hiding under a bed in the basement at grandma's house. A woman yelps when a rat dashes at her feet on the train platform. I was only swallowing orders. Perhaps I waited too long for healthcare in this country. Died by negligence of no insurance. Cruelty of market-driven business medical capitalism. Forgot I had beef in the fridge, a gift from my Russian clown friend. One bright spot in a blight who works at Everyday Grocery, managing my symptoms. If I hadn't gone for a walk that night, the chances of nightfall and diamonds. Natalie Imbruglia rules, seeing the eclipse from the train crossing the Manhattan Bridge, sunbathing in the eclipse. At the crossroads of Union Square, it's over before it started. The sun goes behind a cloud. What good is a once-in-a-100-year astronomical event if you can't even see it? Where a stroll happens, you have never seen the pictures, no longer get recognized in public. My patented 2-frame method, they got news in there I want news glycine coming out of Paris, combing university. The moon is visible during the day sometimes. Dark star crashing all the way live from a G6. Remembered some Bashar. I can't see shit. It's giving a completed hors d'oeuvre. Walking gets creepy. The enamel of the city is like an egg. A lesbian at a party at OU after serving a green drink called Hulk Smash. What does it do besides costing me my feet? The shadows didn't even shimmer into silver fishtails of miniature planets on the ground. Pancreated moons of the disk hung upside down, impregnant from a yin-yang like a coelacanth jaw, hamachigama, or prehistoric fish. Yeah, you got the Dark Scar reference, brother. All my Deadhead fans out there. Basically just a formality. Only take 10 minutes out of your day. This eclipse was mid. The last eclipse was better. Is that called getting old? Water, swim away from the grave of the world. Finally making 10% cut so I won't ever have to work here again. Okay. Ashley, I think I misread it. I think it did say 23. I think I just misread it, actually. My 5s are often mistaken for 3s. It's a common problem I have. Jerry, man. Jerry is God. LSD saves everybody. If there's nothing, apparently fish is very good. I have not listened to Fish ever, and I probably never will because I just can't be that guy. But Drew Carey said Fish was like having an orgasm or something. I don't know. It was kind of gross the way he described it, but I keep seeing all these videos of them at the Sphere. Thank you, S.A. Beaver. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to read more often rather than just yapping about my own insecurity. Who is the other? It's 23-year-old. Shake my head. Jesus Christ, Ashley. You're like you're going to run poor old Nixon out of office here, huh? It's a witch hunt. This is a witch hunt. I also thought it was important to watch the Nixon movie in the wake of Trump, because Trump was like Nixon on fucking creatine. Trump was like HGH Sudafed Nixon. Oh, God. 2 of your cats love the dead, man. China Cat Sunflower and Black Peter. I'm a Robert Hunter guy. You got to go to, you got to check out the Robert Hunter live. Full sets. I mean, in a certain way, Robert Hunter is kind of as much of a part of the Grateful Dead as Jerry Garcia is, almost, because he wrote the lyrics. Really. Yes, put the lasagna in, Ashley. I'm on 102nd. When I get there, I want my lasagna, okay? Forthwith. I'm a man. I'm a patriarch, okay? I'm a trad Catholic. I want that woman in the kitchen cooking food. I want it on the fucking table when Daddy comes home. There you go. China Cat Sunflower, baby. You gotta have a China Cat Sunflower. I mean, I gotta say, that was the gateway for me. When that, you know, because I made fun of the Grateful Dead, just like everybody. And then spring of 2017, I remember putting on China Cat Sunflower for some reason. It's probably on the Spotify Essentials, maybe. And that opening, you know, that opening guitar really sounds like a cat. I think that's Bob Weir. Bob Weir, in a certain way, doesn't get enough credit, but in another way, he kind of gets too much credit. But, yeah, that China Cat Sunflower opening guitar lick, that was like the Grateful Dead sort of pawing their way in. And to be honest, I don't know. As soon as I found out, or like, you know, I got to say the anthology of American folk music was a big thing. And I think the Grateful Dead are sort of in that tradition where it's like, you know, their music is a little bit shaggy, you know. It's kind of like a shaggy dog tale. It's a little bit scruffy around the ears. It's, you know, it's a little long in the tooth. But that, I think, you know, the internet has only showed that that kind of shit is the future of our body of work. You know, being able to release everything, being able to immerse yourself in 3,000 concerts and versions of fucking Fire on the Mountain that are 30 minutes long, or Not Fade Away or whatever. Long kind of environmental music. Oh, really? Robert Hunter translated Rilke. I didn't know that. He's on, Robert Hunter's on Penguin Poets. I'd love to have some of his books. I've never actually seen any of his published books. I think he's got a book called Glass Lunch or something like that. But, you know, he really lived the poetry life, and the Grateful Dead sort of grew out of that kind of Berkeley coffee house beat. You know, those guys were beatniks, really. You know, they were playing the anthology of American folk music, basically, and that kind of shit. Banjos, fucking bluegrass, mandolins. You know, they were like a jug band or whatever. And, you know, they were around poetry. Robert Hunter he played with Garcia before the Grateful Dead. They were like, you know, sort of like a goateed Van Dyke beard coffee house thing. Folkies. And, you know, then they went electric and psychedelic, and you know, their music is like environmental. It's immersive. And the way they traveled, and people, you know, it's unbelievable to me that, you know, in the 80s, the Grateful Dead was like the highest grossing live act, like on the fucking planet. That's crazy to me, man. That they were so popular. They made more money than anybody. Because their music does seem, like I said, it's a little unkempt. It's not clean. It's not like everything now. You know, everything in music now is a karaoke contest, kind of prefabricated, fake. I mean, this guy, McG, it's kind of interesting. He reminds me of like Thundercat when I first saw Thundercat. The thing about music is when you see something new and exciting, you really do remember it. It really does break through. You're like, what's this? This is like a breath of fresh air. That hasn't happened really that much, I don't think, in the last few decades. It's all just sewn up by corporations on the radio stations. Corporations control what they want us to hear, you know? It's not about talent. It's not about outsiders making it. You know, the story of the Beatles, one of the reasons why that was important, I guess, or at least at the time, to somebody like me, was it showed you that you could do it. You know, these were just fucking dudes from this working class. You know, it's like they were from Toledo or something. Or Detroit or New Orleans. I don't know. And they made it because of their talent. You know, they made it because they were better writers. It's just mysterious. It's mysterious the way that the quality of things has kind of dropped off. You know, like the sound of all this digital stuff, the sound of, you know, online or desktop recording. There's so many reasons why that stuff just doesn't appeal. It's not as appealing. It just doesn't sound as appealing. You know, they made these fucking classic goddamn records or whatever. And that just doesn't seem to happen as much. But the Grateful Dead, you know, they're not necessarily they're not a studio band. You know, like so many fucking acts became, you know, through the 70s, 80s, whatever. Everything just became, let's be Toto, you know, or Steely Dan, or super perfect sounding. super locked in. The Grateful Dead kind of make it okay to let it have some play. Let's just get some stuff out, even like this, like this, I do look, it is like Grateful Dead, because it's like, there's a kind of, a lot of people think they suck. A lot of people put the Grateful Dead on there just like, this shit, I can't even listen to this. It sounds like, before I started to get into them, there you go, nice, Jerry.net. To me, the Grateful Dead was kind of like the Weak Handshake. There's something about having two drummers. Mickey, I think, drags the band or something a little bit. But that's kind of what makes them special, is their music is it's not as, like a lot of rock and roll is about the tightness and everything being super in the pocket and locked in, and there being kind of a snap to it. Whereas the Grateful Dead are more kind of lazy. There's more space, there's more give, there's more kind of looseness. And Phil Lesh is kind of the one that really makes it weird, because he's not just playing, root kind of groove stuff like every other bass player kind of in rock and roll. He's just, he's more like a jazz bass player. He's just going all over the fucking fretboard whenever he wants. And so it kind of gives this kind of wandering quality. And I don't know, Bob plays a lot of kind of rhythmic. Yeah, he studied with, like, I forget who, Terry, who's that guy, Steve Reich or Terry, some kind of super avant-garde fucking, composer, jazz guy in San Francisco, Mills College or something. Not Lamont Young, not Steve Reich, Terry Riley? Maybe it was Terry Riley. I don't know. I don't know anything. All I do is smoke weed all day. Trying to disorder my senses to make myself less of a servant to the American empire and the capitalist nightmare. I do everything I can to monkey wrench the gears and to stop this thing and to just get people turned on and sensitive to the beauty and the delicacy, the softness of what's all around us. Like the Grateful Dead. That's poetry music. They're practically a poetry band. And there's so much color. There's the whole wheel of life. I love the way that the Grateful Dead travels and their music evolves. So it's like every concert is like a new painting. It's like an original piece. And you can hear their travel in the music. You hear the whole country. You hear the landscape. You hear the bus. You hear those long hours. They really digested this fucking country, the music, the landscape, and, but they allowed it to sort of come out, knowing the tradition, playing into that kind of American songbook. It's almost like they're writing folk songs that could have been written sort of anonymously or whatever over the centuries and just sort of survived. A lot of the Grateful Dead songs feel like they have that storytelling character. They're almost like westerns. They're cinematic in a way. Me and my uncle. Preheating the oven now. Okay. She's preheating the oven, everybody. But his son graduated Princeton. He played his son's... Oh, okay. Nice. Club Terrace. They're, the phrase jam band. I think our culture, it does, like, because improvisation is not... I think it will become a product again. Live streaming is an improvisation. Live music is sort of more of an improvisation. People want perfection. You know, they want to go see the way it sounds on the record. They want to see Rush, you know? They want to see technical perfection, virtuosity, things that they can't do, things that sort of dazzle them with their hand-eye coordination. Yeah, me and my uncle. You know, Jerry is like a good guitar player, but he's not like a melt-your-face-off speed demon. You know, he's like a picker. And he's got great tone. You know, his guitar sounds almost like a horn or something. You can tell he's probably more into Coltrane, that kind of thing. So it's like, that's the tradition the Grateful Dead was sort of... I like that they did that. I'm surprised more bands don't do that, where they sort of use their material as a jumping off point, you know, to articulate new things melodically. You know, when I was younger, playing in bands, I think there was an attitude about solos like, what is the point of this? A solo is indulgent. As a player, you didn't want to play solos because you thought, you know, first of all, I don't have the technique. I don't know enough scales. You know, I don't. And what are they even for? They're just boring. Get to more singing, get to more song, get to more kind of the product of something that's written. Whereas like now I feel like, you know, solos are abstract. Their color, their texture, their art form, you know, you can feel, even though they're not specific with like a definitive verbal content or like a legible image, you can kind of hear images, you can hear feeling, you can see pictures. And Garcia, it's like energy, you know. Somehow he's able to kind of just like keep you in this kind of uplifting, happy place. You know, it's amazing to me how drawn people are to that guy. You know, like what is it about Jerry Garcia that people are so... He's almost like a Ted Berrigan. You know, he's this big teddy bear guy. You know, he's lovable in that way, I guess. He's got the Buddha, the kind of Buddha glow. There was a distribution that needed movies to be 2 hours long, needed songs to be 3 minutes long, needed product that they could sell, DVDs, CDs, records, books. We're moving in. We're getting to a place where maybe the goal so much. Yeah, my fucking... they had these cell towers up in these buildings. I think they like blocked a signal or something. It was doing that on the Upper East Side when I started. So maybe this is a good place to stop, I guess. We get the MFA thesis prom tomorrow at the genocide supporting university, which will go nameless. They support the genocide, they're complicit. And yes, Ashley's drawn to me. She wants to terrify everyone else away. She has to have me completely. She can't even handle people watching me on my fucking live stream. Yeah, so Jerry, yeah, it's not about being tight necessarily. It's just about, you know, riding the waves, and it's like having a conversation, right? With jazz, with instrumental back and forth. It's like you say a little, I say a little, there's listening. You know, it's like playing catch. And so, you know, I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more improvisation in the clubs and not just bad improv comedy. You know, people should improvise monologues. People should improvise poetry. You know, wrestling is a great, obviously, improvisational form. We'll call it in the ring, brother. We'll call it in the ring. You're going to drop the strap. You know, we never scripted a match ever. The audience told us. So, System Lord practice Tuesday. System Lord is coming back. Other than that, I don't really have a lot going on. I'll just be streaming. I'll be streaming my ass off. So get ready, everybody. Tell your friends. I'll read more poetry. I'm gonna read all my notebooks, all my diaries, and we're gonna figure this out, okay? We are going to change the world. We are gonna save the world. Scenes from a life. Thank you for watching. The revolution starts now, guys.